Good morning, Bix Weir, roadrunner.com with your morning horn of Z's, your sip of coffee. Uh, just starting out, day two of the road trip, having a blast. I got to hang out with Amy's parents last night, and we are headed up north today. For those of you who want to watch our moment by moment, day to day trials and tribulations, go to Patreon or go to the Road Route private road, and you get to see Amy. I told her she has to be on film because she never wants to. There she is, right there. By the way, that's the beginning of our trip, and I do want to say that Amy's going to put together a raw food cleanse for all the anybody who wants to participate. She has said she will do it because I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know anything. I was just told what to do. Our friend Christoph was the guy who instigated this all, and Amy just has just grasped it and understands it a hell of a lot better than I do. So she's going to do that for all the YouTube members of Road to Ruta, anybody who wants to join. And she's putting together a Telegram for support and all that. This is going to start in about 2 weeks so we can finish right at the Bitcoin Bend big meetup in St. Louis. The outdoor, I don't know if we're barbecuing. I think he's got food trucks coming in. I'll be flying out for that. It's going to be a concert. It's going to be a discussion. A lot of crypto people going to be there, and just freedom fighters in general. Ben has really embraced the freedom side of things, which is awesome. And that's what we're going up to Seattle for, by the way. Not Seattle. Where are we going? Spokane, Washington. To talk about freedom and cryptos and silver. David Morgan's going to give his talk on silver and freedom, which I love hearing David. I mean, he cries almost as much as Bitcoin Ben. And myself. It's an emotional topic, freedom, because it brings out something inside you that just really screams to get out, especially when we've been held back for so long. And yeah, I no doubt I'll start crying at the event on Sunday. By the way, if you're anywhere near Spokane, like within 1,000 miles, it's going to be a blast. And it's at the Chateau Reeve at 2 o'clock on Sunday. It's going to be great. So follow Amy and my adventures on Patreon, and please support us on Patreon. YouTube has banned 2 videos that I tried to post. I'm posting everything on Patreon, and defunded anything that says anything about Jeffrey Epstein, which is odd because it's front headlines in every paper of the world, and yet YouTube defunds it all. Why? Because they're involved with it. It's really scary and sad. But a lot of freedom breaking out now, and a lot of people are going to go to jail, especially for the pedophilia stuff, just horrific stuff. But I don't want to talk about that right now. So yeah, please support our Patreon channel. Go to Patreon, and you will get our day-to-day adventures on the road by Amy. She'll be in more of it. She's not going to do that much. But also keep an eye out for when the cleanse starts. It's going to start in about a week and a half, so that everybody will be nice and slim and skinny and healthy by the Bitcoin Ben meetup. Is Ben going to do it? Is Ben going to take up the challenge? Which is, I would say 99% chance no, he will not, and no one's going to force him to do it. But it would mean like no beer and chicken wings for him for 3 weeks. His wife, Kelly, might. I think Kelly would. Come on, Kelly, you can do it. Ben, you can do it if you choose to do it. And I guarantee you one thing, if you do it, you will never feel better than you have in the past, 40-something? Mid-40s? You will never feel better than you will after this thing. And wouldn't that be an amazing thing to feel as we go into this huge meetup in St. Louis? So the challenge is out there, Ben, but I'm not going to hold you to anything because I know you love your beer and chicken wings. It's just a fact. And but if anybody out there wants to do it with us, because I've had so many people say, "How did you lose 25 pounds?" It wasn't the weight at all. The weight came off just because of what I was eating before. the things that you eat and the things that stick in your gut get all cleaned out, and your body, it's kind of hitting a restart button on your body, which is really cool. And I want to do it again. So within, I think it's a week or so, I'll put out a YouTube thing and email. If you're not on the emails from Road to Rudy yet, go to roadtorudy.com. The top left side, get your free emails right there, top left. Get a free book too. Pretty cool. Anyway, let's talk cryptos. Yeah, any day now? Sure. Everybody's like, oh, any day now. But remember, they're all on computer programs. They can go up or down with the click of a mouse. Now, my take is the good guys are going to allow the cryptos to be the number one choice when the banking system falls apart, which I'll talk about in a second. But when that happens, you're going to see a big change in the allocation, what cryptos get all the love, because it'll be the means of exchange. I expect Bitcoin to do okay, but Litecoin to go to 4-1 almost instantly when the banks crash, because Satoshi invented Bitcoin to be a peer-to-peer cashless system. Peer-to-peer transactions, right? That is not Bitcoin. Bitcoin is now a store of value. Litecoin is that number one. There's others like Bitcoin Cash. I think Bitcoin Cash will do a lot better than Bitcoin in that transition point. So yeah, 4-1. Litecoin, even if Bitcoin stays exactly where it is, would be $3,100 Litecoin, and Litecoin standing at $120. So it'll be kind of instantaneous. And I could see, when the banksters crash. See, that's the other thing. You got to be able to hold on for dear life. They could put the price of Bitcoin at zero or Litecoin at zero with the click of a mouse. There's unlimited amounts of sells you can do on these derivative exchanges, and they're all derivative exchanges, including gold, silver, the stock market, the bond market, all of it. What will they do? I don't know. And then you think, okay, what will they do to start it up again? Veritasium. Absolutely. Cliff made that prediction long ago that the governments are going to go to Reggie Middleton and say, okay, our old system failed. How can we implement Veritasium to make peer-to-peer transactions and exchanges and things like that? I'm just saying, Litecoin is great, and it will do extremely well in the crash. After the crash, you're looking at Veri. And it's cheap. It's almost free right now. So, yeah, Reggie knows what he's doing, and he's done it right. He's working with the regulators instead of fighting against the regulators. Companies that fight against the regulators will lose. Absolutely, because it's so important moving forward, the cryptocurrency. So yeah, I'm looking at this year at some point 4-1. That's my take. If we need a peer-to-peer cashless system, peer-to-peer electronic money, it is not fiat money. It is not Bitcoin. The number one is Litecoin, but there's others. Bitcoin Cash, Digibyte maybe, Dash maybe. Yeah, interesting thought. Although I can't talk about it, is this Jeffrey Epstein stuff. There are many crypto people related to Jeffrey Epstein, mind you. So I do expect a lot of crypto people to end up in jail on this Jeffrey Epstein stuff. What will that do to the crypto markets? Well, certain cryptos will do really well. Certain cryptos will die. I think Tether will die, and everyone associated with it will go to jail. But we'll find out, right? People ask me a lot about XRP. But it's not people. There's like a handful, maybe 5 or 10 people who are really big XRP people trying to promote XRP. XRP is mainly, my problem with XRP is not the technology. My problem is that when the banks collapse, all the banks that hold XRP are going to have to sell it. So you can have a mass selling of XRP while everybody else gets into everything else. XRP is absolutely associated and linked to the old system. So if you do have a derivative crash, it's pretty much admitted that XRP is mainly held by the banks and Ripple, right? Even the big promoters of XRP are saying that. Yes, they're mainly held by the banks. What is a bank required to do when they go insolvent? They're required to sell all assets, to liquidate all assets. We saw it in 2008. We're going to see it again. So all the banks, every single one of the banks is going to have to sell their XRP, and who will be the buyers? Nobody. So XRP will go to zero as Bitcoin and Litecoin go through the roof. It's common sense, my friends. You XRP guys, You know it too. Who's the biggest holder of XRP? It's the banks. What do the banks have to do when the system falls apart? They have to liquidate assets. So they're going to be liquidating their XRP. That's my take on XRP. It's not a good take. And when will that happen? Well, let's take a look. Let's take a look at our friends at Deutsche Bank, the largest bank derivative holder, over $40 trillion in derivatives are about to go bad. Here's a great article from Zero Hedge. The mood is pretty hopeless. Scenes outside Deutsche Bank offices evokes the Lehman collapse. At the end of the day, all the frenzy whispered in the press about Deutsche Bank CEO Christian Sewing's sweeping restructuring hardly did it any justice. Instead of moving slowly, the bank started herding hundreds of employees into meetings with HR, first in its offices in Asia, and then London, and then New York City. By some accounts, it was the largest mass banker firing since the collapse of Lehman, which left nearly 30,000 employees in New York City jobless. Although the American economy is doing comparatively well relative to Europe, across the world, Deutsche Bank employees might struggle to find work in their same field. Absolutely. Now check this out. I love this picture. Here's some Deutsche Bank banksters leaving, and look what the baggies holding. Bitcoins. I don't know if this was staged. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't look like it was photoshopped in there because the Bitcoin is kind of, but oh my God, it's the greatest picture ever. I'm going to put it as the screenshot for this video. The Deutsche Bankers leaving, those who know are going to take all their money and put it into cryptocurrencies. Absolutely. Who's going to be the biggest buyers of cryptocurrencies? Those who know the old system is failing. The banksters who have all the money are going to be just flooding it into cryptocurrencies. And then they'll find the most undervalued one because they're smart. And it would be Litecoin because they know their system is dying. I can't say this enough. If you're looking for a risk reward payout that is going to be a monster, it's Litecoin. Litecoin is the right coin as a means of exchange. For the highest paid employees being let go this week, many will need to get used to lower pay. Some 1,100 material risk takers have been let go. On average, they earn $1.25 million, with almost 60% of that in cash. Where do you think it's going? Cryptos. Quote, a lot of these people are going to have to get used to less compensation, said Richard Lipstein, managing director of recruiting firm Gilbert Tweed International, in a telephone interview. And the percentage of compensation in cash is lower than it used to be. It's going to be zero. These banksters, the whole entire financial system is on the brink because of the 45 trillion in derivatives that are about to go bad at Deutsche Bank. All these banksters that make millions of dollars every year, and there's tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of them, will be looking for jobs. And where are they going to run? What's the next new thing? Cryptocurrencies. You, if you own them right now, are already in on it. You're already in on it. All you have to do is hodl. Yes, it will go up, down, and sideways because they're massive market manipulators. Just wait till they all try to pull their cryptos off the exchanges and the exchanges have to shut down because of it. Yes, all the exchanges, even Coinbase, even Kraken, even Binance, the criminal Binance or the criminal Bitfinex. I mean, this can happen like that instantly. And I have 2 posts on the Patreon channel. The last 2 ones are Ruda's Timeline Part 2 and Ruda's Timeline Part 1. It talks about when it's going to happen. Again, join Road to Ruda Patreon. You'll see my lovely face there at the top. So yes, it is happening. Yes, it's taken longer than I expected, longer than anybody expected. Lots of scary but good stuff. We have to go through the darkness to get to the light. The light is a new system based on sound, not based on people anymore, not based on bankers, not based on governments. It's based on math. It's a trustless system. Cryptos are trustless. You don't have to trust anybody. If you have to trust anybody with your cryptos, you're not doing it right. If you hold your cryptos at Coinbase or Kraken or in a wallet that you don't have your own private keys, that's how you could tell. If you're not the only one who owns your private keys, you don't own your cryptos, and you will lose them in a global crash, a global meltdown. Same with silver. If a third party owns your silver, same with gold. It could be the nicest people in the world. It doesn't matter. The guards guarding that silver vault will be taking the silver to save their families. Absolutely, 100%. Mining stocks? No, oh my God. All will be nationalized. Especially if you can imagine a U.S. citizen saying, walking into Mexico, excuse me, I have this mining stock. It says I own the silver in the ground in Mexico. How fast are they going to laugh you out of town? How fast? If they don't shoot you right there for suppressing the price of silver, they're going to blame America for a lot of this stuff. But Deutsche Bank, the criminal EU, they're more criminal. They're massively more leveraged than the United States banks. It doesn't matter. Any leverage is going to be the killer because they're going to have to all be selling at this exact same time. They're going to sell the same assets. So just hang on. If you have, what do? You'd be able to survive for a couple months on your own. Can you do that? Why don't you practice one weekend? Shut your doors, windows, turn off the electricity and say, can I survive? How long can I survive? Just try it for a weekend. And most people will find, oh man, my skills in survival are not really good because I've never had to do it. You're going to need food. You're going to need water. You're going to need a source of energy. I use Gold Zero for solar backup generators. It's this little box. It powers my stuff. It can power my internet. Then again, if there's major outages, your internet probably won't be up and going. Those who say, well, if the internet goes down, cryptos are gone. No, cryptos are stored. The blockchain is stored on a hard drive somewhere. They're not gone. When the internet starts up again, you have the exact same spot. What if it doesn't start up again? Then we're all dead. I hate to tell you, there's no gas, there's no food, there's no water. Everything requires the internet to keep going these days. The bad guys are attacking the internet, absolutely, but the good guys have control of it. So I hear. But yeah, if the internet goes down, cryptos will be worthless. Gold and silver will be worthless. What will be worth something? Probably the most sought after profession would be a mortician. Can you survive in a city with no food and no water? And no infrastructure and no police? Everything runs off the internet now. So yes, that would be the Mad Max scenario. And no, gold and silver would be useless in a Mad Max scenario. Same with cryptos would be useless in a Mad Max scenario. You need guns. Just look at Mad Max. The vast majority of people will be dead. Those with the most guns will be kicking around. But that's not going to happen. That's not planned. That's not a part of our plan. We're moving into a high-tech, futuristic golden age where we don't have to rely on people or banksters or pedophiles or anybody anymore. We get to rely on ourselves and our own freedom, and that's a good thing. A really good thing. Anyway, I got to get on the road. If you're on Patreon, you'll be hearing from Amy a little later today, which is awesome. There she is. She's very excited to be on the road, although we just got back from New Orleans. It's different. New Orleans is like, it's regimented partying. And I'm not partying that much. She had a couple of good nights. But the kids had fun, and we did a lot. We went on a swamp boat out there with all the gators. Holy moly, it was awesome. The high-speed fan boats were flying around it's not the Everglades, is it? No, that's Florida. The swamp, literally in the swamp. And we were like, our guide, who was like, we heard the banjos playing every time he opens his mouth, grabs a baby alligator about this big, passing it around on the boat. I was taking pictures of me and an alligator. I'll show those pictures sometime up here. But hey, if you want to follow the road trip Amy and I are on, hanging out with a lot of cool people. I will be hooking up with Cliff High. I'm so excited. And that will be posted on Patreon as well. Join the Patreon so you don't miss out. Anyway, this is Bix Weir, roadrunner.com. I'll talk to you later.